All right, let's jump right into one of the biggest sci-fi adventures in years, Andy Weir's amazing novel, Project Hail Mary. We're going to break down everything, the crazy high-stakes science, the impossible choices, and of course, that ending, the one that has readers debating to this very day.
So, if you loved the whole nail biting, science the heck out of it survival story of The Martian, then you already know what Andy Weir is all about. Well, Project Hail Mary takes that same formula and just launches it into deep space. The crisis is even bigger this time. We're talking a massive scientific mystery with the fate of the entire world hanging in the balance.
And this is the hook that gets you right from page one. Just imagine this for a second. What if you were humanity's last hope? The one person who could save everyone, but you couldn't remember why. You're the single point of failure for the entire human race, flying through space on a mission, and you have absolutely no idea who you are or what you're even supposed to be doing. Talk about pressure.
And that is exactly where we meet our hero, a guy named Dr. Ryland Grace. The thing is, he doesn't know he's a doctor. He doesn't even know his own name. All he knows is he's woken up from a coma, totally alone on a spaceship called the Hail Mary. His two crewmates are dead, and his memory is just gone. And his pieces slowly start to come back to him. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Okay, so why was he even sent on this mission? What could possibly be so bad? Well, it all comes down to a tiny little problem that's about to plunge Earth into a new ice age. We're talking a full-on extinction-level event.
So let's meet the villain of the story. It's a thing called astrophage, and its name literally means star eater, which tells you pretty much everything you need to know. It's this microscopic alien life form that's, well, eating our sun. It's not evil or malicious or anything, it's just hungry, doing what it does. But the side effect for us? It's catastrophic. Our sun is dimming, and it is happening way faster than anyone is comfortable with. And its life cycle? Oh, it's simple but just brutally effective. Check this out. First, they feed on the sun's energy. Then, they travel to a planet with a lot of CO2, like our neighbor Venus. There, they breed like crazy in that thick atmosphere. And then, the new generation flies right back to the sun to feed again. It's a feedback loop, an exponentially growing problem that's getting worse by the day. And that is why Project Hail Mary even exists. It is humanity's absolute last-ditch effort, a one-way suicide mission to the Tau Ceti star system. So why there, of all places? Well, because it's the only nearby star that seems to be completely immune to this astrophage problem. The hope, the prayer really, is that if Grace can figure out why Tau Ceti is safe, he can find a solution and somehow send that information back to Earth. But of course, when Grace finally arrives at Tau Ceti, the story takes a wild turn that absolutely no one on Earth could have ever seen coming. Turns out, the fate of humanity, it's not just a human problem anymore.
That's right, he's not alone. There's another ship out there, and its pilot, they're there for the exact same reason Grace is. Their star is dimming too. All of a sudden, this mission isn't just about saving Earth anymore. Now it's about saving two entire civilizations that have never even met.
Now, you can imagine, this creates an unbelievable challenge. Grace meets the alien, who he ends up calling Rocky, and they could not be more different. I mean, Rocky's species comes from a planet with crushing gravity. They breathe ammonia, and they see the world using sonar, not light. So, how in the world do you even start to communicate with a being like that, let alone work together to solve a complex astrophysics problem? And that right there becomes the real heart of the story. You know, as one fan put it so perfectly, the book isn't really just about solving the astrophage problem. It's about these two beings from totally different corners of the universe figuring out how to overcome impossible barriers to build this incredible, unlikely friendship. So all of this builds and builds to the book's climax, and honestly, to one of the most compelling moral dilemmas in modern sci-fi. Because after all that work, after months of collaboration, Grace and Rocky, they do it. They find the answer.
Turns out, the solution is another life form, a creature native to the Tau Ceti system that actually eats astrophage. They call it Tumuiba. This is it. This is the key. All they have to do is breed enough of these little guys, send them back to their home planets, and save both worlds. It's a total victory. Or is it?
And this is where we get to the core question of the book, the one that really defines Ryland Gracie's entire character. See, right after he sends the solution back to Earth, he makes a horrible discovery. Rocky's ship. It's been contaminated. The Tomoeba have eaten all of Rocky's fuel. He's stranded. He's going to die out there. And here's the choice Grace has to make. He has just enough fuel for a one-way trip back home to Earth. He can go home, be a hero, the man who saved billions of lives. Or he can turn around, give his fuel to Rocky, and save his friend and an entire alien species, knowing that he will be stranded 12 light years from home with absolutely zero chance of ever being rescued.
So what does he do? Well, his choice and what happens in that final chapter has sparked a huge debate among fans. Was it the perfect ending, or was it a total cop-out?
Well, Grace chooses his friend. He saves Rocky. Rocky takes him back to his homeworld, Arid. And Grace survives. He actually finds a way to live there, and he becomes a teacher to the next generation of little Aridians. And eventually, he even gets to look through their telescopes and see that his mission worked. Earth was saved. The sun is back to normal.
Okay, so for a lot of readers, this felt, well, kind of unsatisfying. A bit of a letdown. As one person put it, the solution to his survival felt too easy. Just eat the tanome, and that the whole happily ever after vibe felt really cheesy. They felt it kind of cheapened the huge sacrifice he made. But then you've got the other side of the argument, where so many fans say it was the perfect ending for his character. You gotta remember, before all this, Ryland Grace was a junior high science teacher. That's what he loved to do. So this ending brings his entire story full circle. He gets to go back to his passion, to what he's best at, just, with a classroom full of alien kids. So really, the whole fan debate boils down to a few key questions. First, does the fact that he survives make his sacrifice feel less meaningful? Second, is it a really satisfying character arc? Or is it just a little too convenient, a little too happily ever after? Should the book have just left us wondering if Earth was okay? And maybe most importantly, does it fit his character? I mean, this is a guy who feared death and had to be dragged kicking and screaming onto the mission in the first place. So maybe choosing to live safely on a new planet makes total sense for him.
And in the end, it really leaves you with this bigger question, doesn't it? What actually makes a satisfying ending to a story? Is it the one that ties everything up in a neat little bow, or is it the one that leaves you with some ambiguity, with the true weight of a heavy sacrifice? I guess what you decide says a whole lot about what you're looking for in a great story.